Peace, family. Peace, 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 peace. I see you. I see you. I say. Welcome back to another lecture from University of Black's Law. I name of this lecture is the law of the land and the law of the sea. All right. We need to first understand words, family. If you put an S in front of words, you got swords, and that's what words are. Words are very cunning, and they can cause you great harm if you don't know what they mean. All right. As a species, we are word controlled. Okay. There's a Roman maxim in law that says, "For he that would be deceived, let him." Simply meaning that if you're so ignorant to be deceived by words, then that's your business. That's your problem. Okay. You need to do your homework to find out what words mean. Okay. Especially in relation to law and governments. Because there's a whole world of occultism that is operating today in front of you throughout the world, in which you use certain words, and when those words are used in a court, they don't mean the same thing at all. Okay? Understanding law and words of law, there are two things that this planet has: water and earth, water and land. Consequently, there's two kinds of law. You have the law of the land, and then you have the law of water. Okay? You've heard the term law of the land before. That's precisely what it means, law of the land, right? Because it is the people who live on land, all right? And that is opposed to something else called the law of the high seas, the law of water. You need to understand the difference. The law of the land is the law of the culture of the people who live on the land, okay? So that's why it's different in every country. You could do things in Africa you can't do in Russia. You could do things in Russia you can't do in Europe. You could do things in Europe you can't do in America, right? So the law of the land is the law of the culture of the people who live on that particular land mass. However, there's a higher law that governs the entire world, and that's called the law of the high sea, the law of water. It's also referred to as the law of money. No matter what color you are, where you from, or where you live, money is money. It's an illusion, but it's money. And anytime you're doing banking or using money, you are now under the law of water, maritime admiralty jurisdiction, family. If you go back in history, in ancient history, when all of this started, right? Back in the land of Canaan, you probably heard in the Bible, the land of Canaan, right? The Canaanites were Phoenician. All right, Phoenician bloodline. And in the ancient Phoenician language, Canaan, it meant merchant banker. The very word merchant comes from mer, right? M-E-R, for the sea, for water, as in mermaid, right? We have merchant bankers. Let me give you an example of the difference between the law of the water and the law of the land. The law of water, as I said, is the law of banking, money, as opposed to the law of the custom of the people, the law of the land. All right? The Statue of Liberty was put in water. It was not on landmass. It had to be put in a harbor because it's not the Statue of Freedom. It's the Statue of Liberty. Find out what liberty means. Liberty is what a sailor gets when he pulls into a port on a ship. He gets liberty. He's not free. So America is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. We're not free or brave. Period. We're not free, family. This is not a free country. You need to wake the fuck up. Let me give you an example of how this law of the water works. I'm going to blow your mind. Why is it that you have to go to court? People always concerned, scared to death to go to court. You play basketball and tennis on courts, right? How do you play tennis? What do you use? You play with a racket. Why? Because that's what courts are, a fucking racket. Straight up. All about this. And make no mistake about it, they do not pick words by chance. It's all by design. These phrases are all by design. Okay? They do not use words and terms loosely with no avail. They're very, extremely important. You go into a court, what's the idea of going to court? It's a game like basketball. The whole idea of court is to put the ball back in the other guy's court. One team gets up and they throw the ball to the other team of lawyers. And that team of lawyers gets up and then throws the ball back to the other team of lawyers. And consequently, it's a ball game. And the judge, who has the black robe without the white stripes, is the referee. He don't care which side wins because he's getting paid regardless. Just like the child support you've been paying goes in his pension. Oh yeah, we gonna break it down in here. That's why he wears that black robe. And that's a whole nother lecture I can go off on a tangent about that. So the judge, that's the referee, and he makes decisions from what? The bench, right? The Latin word for bench is banker. So therefore, the judge rules for the bank. Where do you find banks? You find banks on both sides of a river. They're called river banks. And what does a river bank do? It directs the flow of the currency. You following me, family? Follow the bouncing ball, the juice. Consequently, your money is currency because it's the flow, the cash flow. I'll give you an example of how this works. When a ship pulls into harbor, all ships are referred to as females. Airships, rocket ships, sailing ships, all ships are female. Why? There's a very good reason. Maritime Admiralty banking law says all ships are females because they're carrying items, right, for money. So consequently, they are under Maritime Admiralty law. Admiralty is where we get the word admiral from in the Navy. When a ship pulls into harbor, it parks at the dock and it ties off at the dock. The captain has to provide for the port authorities a certificate of manifest. Because yesterday the ship wasn't there. However, today it has manifested. Science. So consequently, all the products, the $1 million worth of TVs and heroin and cocaine, all that shit's coming on these ships. Each one of those items coming off of that ship has come off of water. And consequently, on the ships, all ships have a captain. Captain comes from the Latin word capital, money. So the captain represents the money that's on board the ship. You follow me? So the captain has to present to the port authorities a certificate of manifest for each and every item. How much is it weigh? What color is it? What shape? So on and so forth, etc., etc. So he presents the certificate of manifest. The ship is sitting in its berth. Wherever a ship sits when it docks, it's called a berth. She sits in her berth, berthing a ship. Okay? All the items coming off the ship representing money that came in off water, they are Maritime Admiralty products. And this is true all over the world. Now, when you were born, your mother's water broke. And when your mother's water broke, you came out. And this is why you have to have a birth certificate, because you are a Maritime Admiralty product under international law. Your body is considered a Maritime Admiralty product. Your mother delivered you. That's why if you go to Sears or Walmart and you buy something, they will ship it to you. They will deliver it to you. That's why you were in your delivery room. Your mother was delivering a product. Maritime Admiralty. You came down your mother's birth canal. It's crazy, right? So now if the doctor drops you and you die, I guess that's okay too, because if you die, they just give you a death certificate. And it's always signed by who? The doc. The doc has to sign your birth certificate and your death certificate. All of these words and terms are maritime admiralty banking words. And therefore, if you understand, lawyers and judges and courts and governments are all under international maritime admiralty law. Facts. All religions, all churches in the world operate under admiralty maritime law. This is why all churches are divided up in what? Denominations. Like hundreds, fifties, and tens and fives. This is why they're called denominations. Because all churches are nothing more than a product of maritime admiralty banking. Facts. Facts. Make no mistake about it. There has never been a country on the face of the earth, as far back as we can go. There has never existed a country in which the people rose up and demanded their right to be free. Never. The concept of human, spiritual, intellectual, and physical freedom is a total concept that has never, ever existed on the earth. We almost did when they founded America. Then they took our sovereignty from us. Now we're under international maritime admiralty law. Remember back in the day in the Cowboys and Indians movies? They'd be in the saloon drinking. Two guys get into a situation and they just walk outside, have a duel. Whoever pull out first and kill each other first. That was it. And the sheriff is standing there just doing nothing. How come? How could men could go out on the street and shoot each other in front of everyone and nothing be done about it? Because before 1868, all Americans were considered sovereigns. Sovereign. King. You will learn in here. You will know in here. I'm just here to remind you who and what you are. The power you, where you come from and the power you yield.